Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
And now, The Adventures of Superman.
And as we continue now at the American occupation base in a nearby village, a radio operator hurriedly summons Major Carroll, the commanding officer. Listen.
Major Carroll, will you come here, sir?
Yes, Corporal, what is it?
We've been getting a signal from Sergeant Nelson, sir. I think he's in trouble.
Well, what kind of trouble?
I don't know. I can't quite make him out. Something about... Listen.
Nelson. Calling. Base. Nelson.
There he is again. You hear him, sir?
Yes, answer him.
Base.
Well, I have, but he doesn't seem to hear him.
Well, try again.
South Central Zone 3 to Sergeant Nelson. We hear you. What's the trouble? Come in.
What's the matter with him? He doesn't answer.
No, he doesn't.
Need help. Wanted.
Says he needs help. He's wounded. Ask him where he is.
Yes, sir. Where are you, Bill? Where are you?
I traced
What was that? Something about trace. He said that before.
Teufel. Great Caesar. He's trying to tell us he's traced to Teufel. Tell him we heard him and ask him where he is.
Yes, sir. We heard you, Bill. You traced Teufel and you're wounded. Tell us where you are.
In? Where?
Gottfried.
He said that...
Gottfried. He must mean Gottfried's Inn. I'll go there at once. Now stand by, Corporal. I may have an important message for you to flash to Berlin. Lieutenant Harris.
As Major Carroll and a detachment of soldiers start for Gottfried's Inn, Superman, unaware of this latest development, has made an important decision. After one more fruitless effort to find Der Teufel, the Man of Steel, in his guise of reporter Clark Kent, has just entered the office of Colonel Greeley, Chief of American Intelligence.
I've come to say goodbye, Colonel.
Goodbye? Where are you going, Kent?
Back to America.
But you're here on the Teufel story. You're not going home before we find him.
I must. He hasn't been found by now. He won't be.
Nonsense, Kent. It may take time, but we'll get him eventually.
Eventually is too late, Colonel. 1 week more, even 1 day more may be too late.
Too late for what?
To save Superman. And perhaps far more than Superman.
Save Superman. Oh, you're harping on that kryptonite nonsense again.
Believe me, Colonel, it isn't nonsense. Kryptonite is Superman's one mortal enemy.
Oh, come now, Kent.
Believe me, it is. And now Der Teufel has it. He's one of the most brilliant scientists Germany ever developed. And he knows the power of that kryptonite. He's trying to develop some sort of an atom man with it to rule the world.
An atom man, huh?
Yes.
Look, Kent, you're too smart a reporter to believe anything as fantastic as that.
Well, they said the atomic bomb was fantastic, too, Colonel, before the first one fell on Hiroshima.
Yes, but an atom man? That's too incredible.
I hope so, but I'm not at all sure. That's why I can't waste another minute. I've got to get back to Metropolis, where a friend of mine is trying to perfect a defense against the kryptonite.
A defense for Superman?
That's right. So I'll be saying goodbye, Colonel, and thanks for everything.
Well, there's nothing to thank me for, Kent. I've enjoyed having you around. But have a nice trip home and say hello to the Statue of Liberty for me.
I will. So long, Colonel.
Goodbye.
Now, let's see. Plenty of deserted offices at this late hour. Yeah, this will do. I'll just close the door. And out with these clothes. Colonel Greeley thinks there's nothing for
Superman to worry about, eh? Well, I know there is. Dr. Millison must find some defense against the kryptonite. That's my only chance to survive. There we are, all set. Up with this window, and back to Metropolis. Up, and away!
Leaping high into the starry night sky, Superman streaks away to the west, across the continent of Europe, and out over the broad Atlantic toward Metropolis. Meanwhile, in a musty, dimly lit cave deep in the black forest of Germany, the dread menace which Superman fears is being prepared against him. On a rough bunk lies a tall, slim, blonde-haired young German. His eyes are closed and he breathes heavily, laboriously, his chest straining to its utmost as the breath rasps from his lips. A long rubber tube extends from a taped clasp on his forearm to a glass vial suspended above the bunk, in which the last drops of a thick, brilliantly green liquid are disappearing into the tube. Leaning over one side of the bunk, his eyes popping behind thick-lensed spectacles, is Der Teufel, his fingers on the sleeping German's pulse. On the other side, his face white and tense, stands the shaggy-haired chemist, Professor Milch.
How is his pulse, Teufel?
It is very rapid. But in a few moments, when the kryptonite solution is taken into his blood, it will recede to normal.
You say it will, but how do you know such an experiment as this has never been attempted before?
I am confident we will succeed.
You are confident. It is not your son who lies there, it is mine.
You offered him for this great service to the fatherland, and he pleaded for the honor. Do you now regret it?
Nein, of course not. It is just that now I'm afraid for him.
You should not be afraid. Rather be proud. For I give your son the opportunity of visiting such terror and destruction upon his hated enemies as is almost beyond imagination. But first, the great Superman will bow to him and do his will.
Yeah, that is good, Teufel, good. Why does he not regain consciousness? The solution is all gone now from the vial.
In a moment. The kryptonite is a great shock to his system. Remove the transfusion tube.
Yeah.
I will attach the converter so that when he awakes, he will be ready.
Yeah? That small square box you attach to his throat. That is the converter?
Yeah. It fits above the jugular vein. This little switch here. When it is thrown, an impulse flashes to the kryptonite in his blood, rearranging the outer structures of the atoms. They rush toward his hands, on which he will wear the meshed platinum and thorium gloves I showed you. At that point, the nucleus of the atom is broken, and there will emerge from his fingers such a stream of energy that anything in its path, be it men or great buildings or even mountains, will disappear as if they had never been there.
Yeah, the theory I understand, Teufel. You need not lecture me as if I was a schoolboy. But so far it's only a theory. My son's life is at stake. What I wish to know, will the theory become a fact?
Wait. It begins.
You mean?
See, his labored breathing subsides. And feel for yourself how his pulse beat lowers.
Yeah, it appears normal now. And see his eyelids flutter.
Yeah. In the moment, Milch, in the moment, our atom man will be born.
Rigid with excitement, Der Teufel and Professor Milch bend over the tall, blond German youth on the bunk, as the other Nazis in the cave crowd close behind them. In a musty, dim-lit cave in the Black Forest of Germany, where Der Teufel has injected Professor Milch's son with a solution of kryptonite, Teufel, Milch, and 10 other Nazis gaze down breathlessly at the tall, blond young German on a rough bunk. 1 minute, 2 minutes have passed since the youth's eyelids quivered, and he seemed to be regaining consciousness. Now Professor Milch's voice trembles as he says,
What is wrong, Teufel? Why does he not regain consciousness?
I do not know.
See how pale he is. And his pulse. Feel his pulse. It grows so faint.
Yeah, I do not understand.
But why do you just stand there? Do something.
There's nothing that I can do. Everything seemed most satisfactory. He seemed to absorb the shock of the transfusion well. You saw yourself how his labored breathing subsided and his pulse lowered. Perhaps in a moment.
In a moment he will be dead.
I
Give me no more words. Save my son. Do something, I tell you.
Restrain yourself,
Restrain myself. I tell you that my son is... There's no heartbeat.
There must be.
There's not. He is... You murdered my son, Teufel.
Impossible. Everything went as planned. My computations were exact. I checked them over and over.
You killed him, I tell you. You killed him.
Impossible, I say. Impossible. I could not make such a mistake. It is impossible.
Scowling, Der Teufel shakes his head stubbornly as he glowers down at the pale, motionless body of the young German on the cot. Is the youth really dead? And has Der Teufel's monstrous plot against Superman and all civilization failed? Or is the crafty and brilliant scientist right when he continues to repeat?
Impossible, I say. He cannot be dead. Der Teufel cannot be wrong. It is impossible.
What is the truth? Don't fail to hear tomorrow's exciting episode when we learn. The secret cave in the Black Forest of Germany, a brilliant but unscrupulous Nazi scientist named Der Teufel has injected a solution of pure kryptonite into the veins of a young Nazi, the son of Professor Milch. Teufel said that when the youth awoke, he would generate such tremendous atomic energy within his own body that the entire world and even Superman would become his slaves. Meanwhile, unable to find Teufel, Superman has returned to Metropolis, where a leading American scientist is trying to discover a defense for him against his mortal enemy, the kryptonite. As we continue now, in the musty, dimly lit cave in the Black Forest, 10 Nazi leaders crowd around the rough bunk on which Milch's son lies, pale and motionless. Almost 2 hours have passed since the injection. Milch, frenzied with grief, addresses the squat, scowling Teufel.
You have murdered my son, Teufel.
Nonsense, Milch.
See for yourself. He has no pulse, no heartbeat.
Nonsense, I tell you. Everything went as planned. I myself tested the kryptonite solution. My computations were exact. I checked them over and over.
Your computations were false. Your whole plan was mad. I should have known better than to put my son's life in your hands.
Restrain yourself, Milch. I warn you.
You warn me? Who are you to warn me? It's my son who lies there dead.
He will yet revive. He must live. All of the kryptonite was dissolved and is now assimilated in his body. Here's our last chance, our last hope.
He's dead, and you killed him. And for that I shall see to it that you too shall die.
You're a fool, Milch. You should know better than to threaten me. I said your son will yet live. But if he does not, then he died for the fatherland.
The fatherland? Who are you to speak of the fatherland? All that you ever did was for yourself, for your own selfish ends to gain power and money.
That is a lie.
It's the truth, and you know it. Was I not in the Chancellery the day that your first rocket bomb fell on England, and you boasted to Hitler? You and I, Führer, will rule the world between us. You did not say Germany would rule. You said the Teufel would. I leave it to General Bromberg, who was present. General, is it not true what I've said?
Gentlemen, please, we cannot afford to quarrel among ourselves. There are too few of us left.
Then take this fool Milch away from me until he calms down. I must take
A fool, am I? Why?
Yeah, you are a great fool, Milch. A disgrace to our noble cause.
I am a fool, am I? A disgrace to our cause. I'll show you, you murderer. The Allied soldiers in the forest who hunt for you. I'll bring them here.
What? Milch?
You'll pay for murdering my son.
He leaves the cave. Stop him.
He only threatens Teufel. He is grief-stricken. When he comes
The
down...
fool will do as he says. After him, all of you.
Nein. The light soldiers are all about. They will see us.
Then I will go alone. Quick, General, give me your revolver.
Nein, Milch can be trusted, I tell you. And he is our only chemist, a great chemist.
I tell you the fool will betray us. Give me your gun.
Well, here it is.
Good. Now remain here quietly, all of you. I will take care of the traitor and return. The boy cannot be dead. There is still a chance.
Rushing from the cave into the dense forest, Der Teufel furiously pursues Professor Milch. Meanwhile, summoned by the wounded military police sergeant Bill Nelson, Major Carroll and a squad of American soldiers have arrived at Gottfried's Inn, hardly a mile away, under the cellar of which an underground tunnel leads to the Nazi secret cave in the forest. After treating the wounds of Sergeant Nelson and his companion Corporal Harry Marks, Major Carroll and an army doctor have just found Gottfried, the innkeeper, who lies faintly breathing behind his bullet-shattered bar.
Major Carroll.
Doctor, Gottfried's alive. Maybe he can tell us about the Teufel.
Yes. He's done for, though. You better make it fast. He can't last much longer.
Listen, Gottfried, you're in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, I know. Tell me, Major, what will happen to my wife?
If she was working with the Nazi underground, too, she'll have to take the consequences.
Oh, but she was not. I swear it.
Your word is no good to me, Gottfried. Now tell me.
Listen, if I tell you where the Teufel is, Major...
Yes?
You will promise to be lenient with my wife?
I can't make any bargains with you, Gottfried, but I'll tell you this. My government wants Teufel badly. If you help us get him, we might be disposed to deal more kindly with your wife.
Yeah, I will tell you. Listen, you know the road which goes for the Black Forest to the south of your camp?
Yes?
If you follow that road almost to the end of the forest, you will come to where it branches off. A wagon trail goes to the south, and a narrow foot trail to the southwest. For perhaps 5 miles on the foot trail is a small log house where the game warden lives. And there, if you make haste, you will find Teufel.
You mean that?
Yeah, he is there now. But you must hurry. Tonight he meets someone there. Tomorrow he departs.
You're giving me a bum steer, Gottfried. It won't do your wife any good.
No, I am not. You men have already looked through the inn and found nobody. I know I'm dying, Major. I think only of my poor wife now. But you must hurry, or the Teufel will escape from you again.
All right. We can be back in a few hours. I'll leave a car here, Doctor, in case you want to take him to the hospital.
Right, Major.
Lieutenant Harris, Station a guard around the inn and hold anyone who comes here. Johnson, Henshaw, Cohn, get in the car with me. Take the forest road just beyond the camp, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
And step on it.
Speeding away from the inn, Major Carroll is unaware that the wily Gottfried has sent him on a false trail, and that a few hours' delay in discovering the secret tunnel under the inn may mean the difference of life or death to Superman. Minutes have passed since Der Teufel left the secret cave in the Black Forest in pursuit of Professor Milch. Now, as the tall, gray-haired General Bromberg and 9 other Nazi underground leaders wait nervously around the rough bunk on which Milch's son lies, Teufel re-enters the cleverly concealed mouth of the cave.
Teufel.
Yeah, here is your gun, General.
2 bullets are missing.
You will find them in Professor Milch's bag.
Ah, what have you done? There are only a handful of us left, and Milch was our only chemist. And he was a great chemist.
He was a fool, and his stupid childish sentiment would have made him a traitor. This is no longer his son who lies here, but the future savior of Germany.
It is now you who speak like a fool, Teufel. This boy is dead.
He cannot be. I made no mistake.
He is dead nevertheless. His heart has stopped beating, and when I placed a mirror to his mouth a moment ago, not the slightest mist came on the glass.
I tell you it cannot be. He must live. What ounce of the kryptonite is in his body, and I can get no more. This is our last chance, our last hope to conquer first Superman, and then the rest of the world.
This is no time to speak of conquering Superman, Teufel. Your stupid shooting of Professor Milch endangers all of us. The Allied soldiers will find him and extend their search for us. We must leave here at once before it grows light. But first we'll bury this boy.
Yes, within him the kryptonite, the power to destroy our enemies and make me, all of us, such emperors as not even Hitler dare dream of being.
A dead youth has this power?
He is not dead, I tell you. He cannot be. Where are my papers, my computations? Here they are. Let me check them again. Perhaps some small thing went wrong which I can rectify.
We will pay no attention to this madman. Weismann, Jodl, Schmidt, Keller. Take spades and dig a burial hole in the rear of the cave. Schnell!
Wait, you cannot do it.
If you interfere, Teufel, you will be shot.
What? You dare to speak to me that way to the Teufel? Now listen to me.
I will not listen to you. You endangered us in coming here with your crazy schemes. And now there are 2 less of us. If you must go too, it will be no loss.
But
Silence! Giselle Bormann, carry young Milch to the grave. Need not be deep, only enough to escape attention.
No, wait!
One more step, Teufel, and I will pull the trigger. All right, Giselle, take him.
No, wait. General, look.
Look at what?
Young Milch. See, his chest moves. He's breathing.
Oh, no, it cannot be.
It is. See for yourself. He breathes, I tell you, he breathes. And see, the color comes back to his cheeks. He lives.
Yeah, it is true.
See, all of you. My atom man lives. Young Milch lives. Now it is the end of Superman and of all who dare to defy the Teufel and the master German race. I have won! I have won!
His frog-like eyes shining behind his thick-lensed spectacles, his fat hands clenched triumphantly above his head, the Teufel chortles with maniacal glee as the slim, blond German youth on the rough bunk opens his eyes and breathes deeply, then looks around at the ring of excited Nazi leaders above him. It's this young German, in whose veins runs the pure, dissolved kryptonite, now an atomic monster, before whom the world, but first Superman, are doomed to bow in slavery or suffer utter destruction. For hours the youth lay in a coma. Finally, unable to detect a heartbeat, General Bromberg, leader of the Nazis, ignored Teufel's frantic protests and ordered a grave to be dug. But as we continue now in the musty, dimly lit cave, Teufel suddenly cries out,
Wait, General. Look.
Look at what?
Young Milch. See, his chest moves. He's breathing.
Oh, no, better it cannot be.
It is. See for yourself. He breathes, I tell you. And look, the color comes back to his cheeks.
Yeah, it is true, Teufel. But how can this be? His heart had stopped.
It had not really stopped. But without a stethoscope, it could not be hurt. See, all of you, my atom man lives. Young Milch lives. And now it is the end of Superman and of all who dare to defy the Teufel and the master German race. Ha, ha, ha!
He speaks. Come closer. Be quiet, everyone.
General Bromberg. Teufel, what is this?
His voice is so deep now.
How do you feel, Milch?
I feel strange. So light, as if I had no body. But I feel strong. Never have I felt so strong before.
Good. Can you stand?
Stand? Of course. Why not?
Let me see you.
All right. There, you see?
You do not feel dizzy?
No, I feel fine. So strong, as if I could carry all of you on my shoulders.
Good.
But why do you ask, Toy? Why do all of you look at me so strangely? What has happened?
Do you not remember the kryptonite?
Kryptonite. Ah, yes, the strange green glowing metal which my father dissolved and which you injected into my blood.
Yeah, you remember the rest?
Yes, you said it would make me an atom man. You said I would only have to hold out my hands and such a stream of atomic power would flow from my body that... No, it can't be.
It can be and it will be. You have now such power that no army, however vast, can stand before you. Not even Superman can resist you.
I have such power, Teufel.
You have, my son.
I can't believe it.
I do not believe it, Teufel.
I will prove it to you. First, the gloves.
Gloves?
Yeah. Here they are. Put them on.
What strange gloves.
They seem to be made of some meshed metal.
They are made of platinum and thorium. You must remember always to put them on before you touch the converter. Through their fingers will emerge the atomic power in your body.
They fit well. You spoke of a converter?
Yeah. It is that small square metal box attached to your throat. It, too, is made of thorium and contains a tiny electronic tube. When you turn the little switch, an impulse flashes to the kryptonite atoms in your blood. No! Do not touch the switch. You will explode all of us into nothing.
You can't be serious, Toy.
You will see for yourself. Come.
Where?
Outside the cave. You two, General Bromberg, and all you others, come with us.
Go quietly. There are Allied soldiers all about in the forest.
It's still dark, General. Follow me now. We will go to the top of a small hill just ahead.
Why do we go there, Teufel?
In a moment, you shall see. As soon as we reach the top of this hill.
Be careful. The Allied soldiers may have heard the shots before and be searching for us.
You can stop fearing the Allied soldiers, General. Soon all of them will be the slaves of my atom man.
An atom man? You speak like a fool, Teufel. It is impossible. Fantastic.
So they said of the first automobile and the airplane and the telephone. And so they said of the first atomic bomb.
But an atom man...
I said you shall see. Here. Just far enough. All of you stand behind us.
Now what?
Now comes the demonstration of how the master German race, guided by me, shall rise again to destroy all our enemies and rule the world. Yeah. Now, young men, you will listen to me and do exactly as I say. You are ready?
I am ready, Teufel.
Your gloves are on firmly?
Yes.
Let me see if the converter fits exactly over your jugular vein. Yeah. You have felt where the switch is.
I know.
Do not touch it yet. You are facing us. Turn toward the cave below.
All right. What do I do now?
Now, turn the switch on the converter.
All right. There.
What happens?
That sound! My voice! What an unusual voice!
You are now an atom man. Your voice is the voice of atomic energy. The kryptonite atoms rush through your blood to your fingertips, where they will emerge in an unbroken chain of unlimited power.
What is that?
Point your hands at the cave, quickly.
Ja, Teufel.
As the slim, blond young German raises his mesh-gloved hands, a brilliant white light which seems to illumine the entire forest flashes above him. And then there is a tremendous explosion. As we continue now, Der Teufel laughs softly and gloatingly as the young atom man, General Bromberg, and 9 other Nazis gape wordlessly at a great canyon-like hole in the forest floor in which giant trees are uprooted and tons of earth and rock flung wildly into the air have fallen to form new grotesque mounds in the darkness. Then Teufel reaches from behind the atom man to turn off the converter at the youth's throat.
Well, gentlemen, what do you say now?
I cannot believe it, Teufel. Look, the cave is no longer there.
It is as if a giant bomb dropped or an earthquake. Did I really do that, Teufel?
Of course you did, my boy. Did I not say that you now have unlimited atomic power within your body?
It makes my head whirl. I'll destroy all the Allied army camps. Come on.
Control yourself. It is I who give you your power, and I who can take it away. Do you understand that?
Yes, of course. I understand, Teufel.
It is I who will command, and you who will obey.
What are you getting at, Teufel?
It is necessary that this boy and I understand each other. Now hear me, Milch. You will leave here at once and proceed to America.
America?
Yeah. You will go to America and take care first of Superman.
I enjoy that. He ruined many of our greatest plans. But how will I find him?
In Metropolis, there's a large newspaper called the Daily Planet.
I know the paper. When I studied journalism in an American college, we often referred to the Daily Planet.
Good. You may be able to secure a position on the Daily Planet. Tell them you will do anything. Sweep floors, anything. But secure a position on the paper.
Why?
Because the Daily Planet alone has contact with Superman. You will discover what that contact is.
I see. All right. When I have finished with Superman, what then?
You will then go to a certain address which is sewn within your right glove. You feel a label in the glove?
Yes.
You will find me there. If not me, then another whom you will recognize. I or he will give you further orders.
Make haste, Teufel. I see flashlights in the woods. The soldiers must be coming.
Yeah. Go then, Milch. Oh, yes. In America, you must not have such a German-sounding name. Let me see.
When I was at school there, I was Henry Miller.
Henry Miller it is, then. In your jacket are forged papers and a passport. You will proceed to the village of Neuheim, where you will board a train for Berlin. From there, arrangements have been made to take you to Metropolis by plane. Hurry now. The flashlights come closer. Oh, wait. Take off the mesh gloves. Pull the collar of your shirt about the converter.
All right.
Now go. Hurry.
All right. Wait. My father. Where is he?
I hoped I would not have to tell you. When you were in a coma, he left the cave. He was mad with grief, thinking you had died. Two American soldiers saw him and shot him.
The swine! Where are they?
You will revenge yourself on them and on all their countrymen in due time, but first you must take care of Superman, then the rest of the world. Go now.
Yes, I'll go. I'll take care of Superman, and then of all the United States. Auf Wiedersehen, Teufel. Goodbye, General Bromberg. Goodbye, all of you. Hide.
Turning abruptly, the Atom Man plunges into the brush to begin his vengeful journey to Metropolis, the Daily Planet, and Superman. And so the first dangerous link is forged in the chain that may soon render Superman helpless. And as we continue now, he is entering the laboratory of Dr. James Millison, a famous American scientist. Listen.
Clark Kent said you wanted to see me, Doctor.
Yes, Superman. Come in and sit down.
Can't we talk right here?
If you're worried about the sliver of kryptonite...
Frankly, I am. As you know, I can't come within 10 feet of it without losing my strength.
Well, you're quite safe in this laboratory. The sliver was destroyed. Come to my desk.
Destroyed?
Yes, in a final effort to discover the cause for its strange effect on you, I placed it in the cyclotron and bombarded it with atoms. Here we are. Sit down.
Thank you. Well, don't keep me in suspense, Doctor. Were you able to find a defense for me against the kryptonite?
I'm sorry to say I wasn't.
Oh.
I did my best, believe me.
Yes, I'm sure you did.
I tried everything, every method known to science, and all the knowledge of electronics developed during the war. I even called in 3 of my colleagues, the leaders in the fields of chemistry, biology, and atomics.
They couldn't help either?
No. You see, your problem is most unique. It's without precedent. You can withstand the most intense power known to man, and yet you're vulnerable to the kryptonite in its stable state. That is, before its atomic structure is disturbed.
Yes, why is that?
That's the crux of the problem, which we can't discover. I can only guess at the answer. You were born on Krypton, where the radioactivity of the planet's elements gave you your amazing powers.
Yes.
But here in the atmosphere of Earth, the chemical structure of your body must react in the opposite way to the fragment of kryptonite and make you weak. I can't tell you why that chemical change takes place.
Well, can't you find out? I mean, perhaps some element or vitamin in my system breaks down. If we found out what it was and I absorbed a great quantity of it...
I thought of that. I even considered exposing you to the tiny piece of kryptonite I had, and then subjecting you to a blood test. And then I remembered your skin was impenetrable.
Yes, that's so. Doctor, something must be done. Der Teufel has a piece of that kryptonite. We traced him to Germany, but he disappeared there. Now, I know he intends to use it against me and then against the rest of the world.
Tell me, how large is the piece of kryptonite Teufel has?
Oh, roughly about the size of that paperweight on your desk.
Uh-huh. Not very large, but the stuff is amazingly pure. You wouldn't need much of it for a bomb powerful enough to destroy all of Metropolis.
What?
But it's impossible. He'd need a huge factory, and the occupation forces now control all the factories in Germany.
But suppose he doesn't intend to make bombs. Teufel told a henchman of his that he intends to create an atom man with the kryptonite.
Oh, what?
An atom man. Some kind of monster he said would be able to control me and enslave the rest of the world.
What in thunder did he mean by that?
I don't know, I'm sure, but I'm worried. Teufel is a brilliant scientist.
I know he is. He won prizes in science twice before the war, and we know he's the man responsible for the rocket bombs the Nazis used. But an atom man, I can't imagine what he meant.
No, I can't either. Unless...
Unless what?
Unless he had some mad idea. Doctor, would you say it was possible to somehow incorporate the kryptonite in a man's body?
Good heavens, no. The stuff would probably kill him, and
You said it was very pure.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it contains practically no impurity.
Well?
That's another amazing thing about it. But introducing it into a man's body, why, even if it could be done and the man lived, what would be accomplished?
If Teufel discovered a way of harnessing and then loosing the tremendous atomic power you say there is in the kryptonite, while it was in a human body, well, he'd have his atom man, wouldn't he?
Not even Teufel is that clever. Forget such a fantastic possibility, Superman.
Would you say it was impossible?
In science, we rarely say anything is impossible. But I'll go so far as to assure you that such an atom man is practically impossible.
Well, that's a relief. Now, if only there was some defense for me against the kryptonite. I know that Teufel has some plan up his sleeve, and apparently its success depends on getting me out of the way.
As I told you, I haven't been able to invent a defense against it. But I'm working on something now which may help you.
You are? What's that?
A detector.
Detector?
Yes, we were able to measure the humming sound the kryptonite makes and its gamma rays. Using a radar principle, we're completing a detector now which will warn you of the presence of the kryptonite while it's still some distance away.
How far away?
Well, that can't be determined accurately. It'll depend on the quantity of the stuff, whether or not it's subdued by other elements, and so on. But the detector will certainly register its approach within 100 yards.
Well, that'll give me a fighting chance at least. I won't be taken by surprise. When will this detector be ready, Doctor?
Late today, I hope.
Oh?
2 of my assistants are working on it now. Would you like to see how they're progressing?
I certainly would. It might make the difference between life and death to me.
Come with me.
Thank you.
There's a small laboratory behind that steel door where I do my most important work.
Oh?
Here we are. In just a moment, this door's always locked. Come in.
Thanks.
This way. Those 2 men across the room are working on the detector. I'll bet they jump a foot when they see Superman in person.
As Superman and Dr. Millicent enter the private laboratory, an angry scene is taking place in Perry White's office at the Metropolis Daily Planet. Seated at his desk, the gray-haired editor scowls furiously at Jimmy Olsen, the freckle-faced cub reporter.
And you say Kent just walked out of the office again, Olsen?
Well, he didn't walk, he ran.
And he didn't say where he was going?
No, sir. He got a phone call, grabbed his hat, and beat it.
Did he say when he'd be back?
No, he didn't.
Well, how do you like that? Whenever Mr. Kent gets a notion he wants a vacation, which has been happening practically every day recently, he just takes it.
Oh, I don't think he went on any vacation, Chief. I mean, Mr. White.
You don't think? You know where he went?
No, but
You know where he disappeared to yesterday?
No.
Or the day before that?
No, but
Or the day before that? The 3 days before that?
No, but I...
Well, neither do I. Neither does Lois. Neither does anybody except Kent himself, and he's not talking.
Well, I'm sure it must be something important.
Something important? Something too important to tell me, his editor? The poor fish who pays his salary? What am I around here anyway? The office boy? I mean the coppice boy? I mean the office boy?
Now, take it easy, Chief. You'll blow a gasket.
It's my gasket, and I'll blow it if I want to. I'll blow 1,000,000 of them.
But your blood pressure...
Hey, it's my blood pressure, too. Olsen, I put up with all I can stand from, can't I? I won't put up with any more. For years, I've stood for his disappearing whenever he felt like it, and then popping up again. But this is too much. This is the last straw.
But, Mr. White...
Ever since that piece of kryptonite was stolen from the museum a couple of weeks ago, Kent's hardly been in the office at all.
I'll bet that's what it is. Mr. Kent must be trying to find the kryptonite. He said Superman was in great danger from it.
Superman in danger? Well, of all the poppycock. If that's what Kent's wasting the Daily Planet's good money on, it's time he learned a lesson. Yes, sir, he needs a lesson, and I'm going to teach it to him.
Well, what do you mean?
What's that? Oh, the intercom. Well, what is it, Miss Blackrock?
There's a Mr. Henry Miller to see you, Mr. White.
Who?
Mr. Henry Miller.
Henry Miller. Henry Miller? Oh, who's he?
Henry Miller. Is this the young Nazi in whose blood runs the dread kryptonite?
Henry Miller? Oh, who's he, Miss Blackrock?
Oh, he's young and terribly good-looking, Mr.
Good-looking?
White.
Who asked you if he's good-looking?
Oh, boy.
Who is he and what does he want?
I'm sorry, Mr. White. He's looking for a position.
Well, why bother me about it? Send him to Kinsey, the office manager.
But he's looking for a reporter's position, and you always interview reporters yourself.
Well, I'm not interviewing any today. I've got enough reporters. Too many, as a matter of fact, for my peace of mind. Send him away. Wait a minute. Did you say he was a reporter?
Yes, sir. Will you see him?
Will I? You bet I will. And if he's any kind of a reporter, I'll... Oh, send him in, Miss Backrack. Send him right in.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Olson, this is rich.
Oh, what is?
This. It works out perfectly. I said I was going to teach Kent a lesson, didn't I?
Huh? Oh, sure, but I don't get it.
Oh, you will, and so will Kent. He thinks that... Now, come in. Oh, come in, Miller, come in. Glad to see you. Why, you may be just the man I'm looking for. Cordially, Perry White invites the slim, blond young man into his office, unaware that he is facing the most dangerous man who ever lived. For this is Henry Miller, the German atomic monster created by Der Teufel to conquer Superman, and he is about to be hired as a reporter for the Daily Planet. What will happen? As he enters Editor Perry White's office, he seems to be a normal young man, blond and Nordic-looking, but now speaking perfect English, all traces of his accent gone. Also missing for the moment are the metal mesh gloves and tiny electronic throat converter that transform him into the dread Atom Man. Listen.
Come in, Miller, come in.
Thank you, sir.
Close the door.
Oh, I better leave, Mr. White.
No, stick around, Olson. This is going to be fun. So, you'd like a reporter's job, eh?
I would if there's one open, sir.
Oh, there's one open, all right, and a very good one, too. Oh, incidentally, meet Jim Olson, one of our cubs.
How you doing, Mr. Olson?
I'm glad to meet you.
Yes, there's a job open. I just lost my key man. Or maybe I should say he lost me. Now, Miller, what's your background? Who have you worked for?
Well, sir, I've been, overseas for a number of years.
Oh, return vet, eh? Good. You boys deserve all the breaks. Yes, sir, there's not enough we can do for you. You hear that, Olson? A return vet.
Yes, Mr. White.
Where'd you work before you went in, Miller?
Well, I spent a year on the Denver Clarion and 6 months on the Chicago Herald.
Two good papers. Anything special you do?
No, sir, just general reporting.
All right. You've got the job. $50 a week to start and a raise in a month if you come through. How's that sound?
Sounds fine, sir. I don't know how to thank...
Forget it. Any man who risked his life fighting for me deserves everything I can give him. Oh, Olson.
Yes, Chief?
Look, what did I tell you about that chief business? You know my name!
Yes, Chief. I mean, Mr. White.
Take Miller into Kent's office. Clear out Kent's desk.
Oh, you better not do that, Mr. White.
What did you say?
Mr. Kent won't like it. He's got a lot of private papers in his desk.
I don't care whether he's got a pink elephant and a family of pygmies. I said clear out his desk, and I mean clear it out. Now go ahead, before you get tossed down on your ear.
Yes, sir. Just follow me, Mr. Miller.
Okay. Good luck, Miller. Good luck. I'm sure you'll work out.
I hope so, sir. I'll try hard.
And tell Miss Backrack Olson that if Kent does break his heart and come in, I don't want to see him.
Yes, Mr. White.
Mr. White seems to have quite a temper.
Yeah, but his bark is worse than his bite. I'll show you Mr. Kent's office, but if I were you, I wouldn't clear out the desk until Mr. Kent gets back. It's over this way.
Who is this Kent fella? What does he do, go on 3-day drunks?
Oh, are you kidding? Why, Kent wouldn't touch a drink with a 10-foot pole. He doesn't smoke either. He's the best reporter on the paper. The best in the country.
Then how come he never shows up?
Well, he shows up. Right now he's out on a big story, I guess. Here's his office.
Not bad. I'm going to like this job.
Oh, don't be too sure.
What do you mean?
Well, Mr. White's okay, but he can run you ragged sometimes. I started here as a copy boy, and I know. You gotta be able to move as fast as Superman sometimes.
Did you say Superman?
Yeah, and that's no joke.
No, Superman is hardly a joke. I understand that you have, some contact with him here at the Daily Planet.
Well, who told you that?
I don't remember now. Is it true?
Well, sort of.
Does he actually wear a blue costume and a red cape? Or haven't you ever seen him?
Oh, I've seen him all right, plenty of times. Sure he does.
How would you contact him if you needed him?
Well, you better ask Miss Lane that question.
Miss Lane?
Mm-hmm, Lois Lane. She's our star girl reporter. I think you ought to meet her. She's in this next office.
Come in. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Miss Lane. I'd like you to meet Mr. Miller, a new reporter Mr. White just hired.
Well, welcome to the Daily Planet, Mr. Miller.
How do you do?
Jim, please close that door, will you?
Oh, sure.
The racket of those typewriters just about drives me crazy. Thanks, Jim. Well, so you've joined the ranks. Is that it, Mr. Miller? The Deadline Fraternity. Perry White's trained seals.
Is it as bad as all that?
No, not really. We take a beating, but we have a lot of fun. Right, Jim?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, what's eating you, James?
Oh, me?
Uh-huh.
Why, nothing.
Oh, now, come on. I know that down in the mouth. Olson, look. What is it?
Mr. Miller is taking Mr. Kent's place.
Oh, that's fine. I'm off. What did you say?
Mr. Kent's been fired. Mr. Miller is taking his place.
Who said so?
The chief, Mr. White.
Oh, the chief. For a minute you had me worried. By this time, Jim, you ought to know better than to take the little Napoleon at his word. Both Clark and I have been fired at least 15 times in the last year.
Is that so? But this time it's for keeps.
Oh, nonsense, Jim.
I tell you, Miss Lane, this time Mr. White means it.
Don't worry, Jim. The minute Clark sticks his nose in that door, it'll be all...
What's going to happen the minute I stick my nose in the door?
Oh, Mr. Kent.
Hi, Jim.
Clark, you're in trouble. Meet Mr. Miller, the man who's taking your place on the paper. Clark? Clark, I'm talking to you. This is Mr. Miller. Clark!
Dazed, as though someone had suddenly cut him across the face with a whip, Clark Kent, almost a little frightened, feels a strange weakness creeping over him, as the solution of kryptonite in Henry Miller's veins begins to take some effect, even without the metal mesh gloves and the electronic converter. This is the first meeting of the Atom Man and Superman, although neither is aware of the other's true identity. As he enters Editor Perry White's office, he seems to be a normal young man, blond and Nordic-looking, but now speaking perfect English, all traces of his accent gone. Also missing, for the moment, are the metal mesh gloves and tiny electronic throat converter that transform him into the dread Atom Man. Listen.
Come in, Miller, come in.
Thank you, sir.
Close the door.
Oh, I better leave, Mr. White.
No, stick around, Olson. This is going to be fun. So, you'd like a reporter's job, eh?
I would if there's one open, sir.
Oh, there's one open, all right, and a very good one, too. Oh, incidentally, meet Jim Olson, one of our cubs.
How you doing, Mr.
I'm
Olson?
glad to meet you.
Yes, there's a job open. I just lost my key man. Or maybe I should say he lost me. Now, Miller, what's your background? Who have you worked for?
Well, sir, I've been, overseas for a number of years.
Oh, return vet, eh? Good. You boys deserve all the breaks. Yes, sir, there's not enough we can do for you. You hear that, Olson? A return vet.
Yes, Mr. White.
Where'd you work before you went in, Miller?
Well, I spent a year on the Denver Clarion and 6 months on the Chicago Herald.
Two good papers. Anything special you do?
No, sir, just general reporting.
All right. You've got the job. $50 a week to start and a raise in a month if you come through. How's that sound?
Sounds fine, sir. I don't know how to thank...
Forget it. Any man who risked his life fighting for me deserves everything I can give him. Oh, Olson.
Yes, Chief?
Look, what did I tell you about that chief business? You know my name!
Yes, Chief. I mean, Mr. White.
Take Miller into Kent's office. Clear out Kent's desk.
Oh, you better not do that, Mr. White.
What did you say?
Mr. Kent won't like it. He's got a lot of private papers in his desk.
I don't care whether he's got a pink elephant and a family of pygmies. I said clear out his desk, and I mean clear it out. Now go ahead, before you get tossed down on your ear.
Yes, sir. Just follow me, Mr. Miller.
Okay. Good luck, Miller. Good luck. I'm sure you'll work out.
I hope so, sir. I'll try hard.
And tell Miss Backrack Olson that if Kent does break his heart and come in, I don't want to see him.
Yes, Mr. White.
Mr. White seems to have quite a temper.
Yeah, but his bark is worse than his bite. I'll show you Mr. Kent's office, but if I were you, I wouldn't clear out the desk until Mr. Kent gets back. It's over this way.
Who is this Kent fella? What does he do, go on 3-day drunks?
Oh, are you kidding? Why, Kent wouldn't touch a drink with a 10-foot pole. He doesn't smoke either. He's the best reporter on the paper. The best in the country.
Then how come he never shows up?
Well, he shows up. Right now he's out on a big story, I guess. Here's his office.
Not bad. I'm going to like this job.
Well, don't be too sure.
What do you mean?
Well, Mr. White's okay, but he can run you ragged sometimes. I started here as a copy boy, and I know. You gotta be able to move as fast as Superman sometimes.
Did you say Superman?
Yeah, and that's no joke.
No, Superman is hardly a joke. I understand that you have, some contact with him here at the Daily Planet.
Well, who told you that?
I don't remember now. Is it true?
Well, sort of.
Does he actually wear a blue costume and a red cape? Or haven't you ever seen him?
Oh, I've seen him all right, plenty of times. Sure he does.
How would you contact him if you needed him?
Well, you better ask Miss Lane that question.
Miss Lane?
Mm-hmm, Lois Lane. She's our star girl reporter. I think you ought to meet her. She's in this next office.
Come in. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Miss Lane. I'd like you to meet Mr. Miller, a new reporter Mr. White just hired.
Well, welcome to the Daily Planet, Mr. Miller.
How do you do?
Jim, please close that door, will you?
Oh, sure.
The racket of those typewriters just about drives me crazy. Thanks, Jim. Well, so you've joined the ranks. Is that it, Mr. Miller? The Deadline Fraternity. Perry White's trained seals.
Is it as bad as all that?
No, not really. We take a beating, but we have a lot of fun. Right, Jim?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, what's eating you, James?
Who, me?
Uh-huh.
Why, nothing.
Oh, now, come on. I know that down in the mouth. Olson, look. What is it?
Mr. Miller is taking Mr. Kent's place.
Oh, that's fine. I'm off. What did you say?
Mr. Kent's been fired. Mr. Miller is taking his place.
Who said so?
The chief, Mr. White.
Oh, the chief. For a minute you had me worried. By this time, Jim, you ought to know better than to take the little Napoleon at his word. Both Clark and I have been fired at least 15 times in the last year.
Is that so? But this time it's for keeps.
Oh, nonsense, Jim.
I tell you, Miss Lane, this time Mr. White means it.
Don't worry, Jim. The minute Clark sticks his nose in that door, it'll be all...
What's going to happen the minute I stick my nose in the door?
Oh, Mr. Kent.
Hi, Jim.
Clark, you're in trouble. Meet Mr. Miller, the man who's taking your place on the paper.
Huh?
Clark, I'm talking to you. This is Mr. Miller. Clark.
Dazed, as though someone had suddenly cut him across the face with a whip, Clark Kent, almost a little frightened, feels a strange weakness creeping over him as the solution of kryptonite in Henry Miller's veins begins to take some effect, even without the metal mesh gloves and the electronic converter. This is the first meeting of the Atom Man and Superman, although neither is aware of the other's true identity. A strange scene is taking place in Lois Lane's office at the Daily Planet. Clark Kent, in reality Superman, is facing for the first time young Heinrich Milk, alias Henry Miller, in whose veins flows a solution of kryptonite that makes of him a deadly Atom Man. As Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen look on in bewilderment, Kent pales as he feels a strange weakness coming over him. Listen.
Clark, what's the matter with you?
I don't know, Lois.
Well, don't you feel well, Mr. Kent? Here, sit down.
I think perhaps I'd better leave.
No, I'm sorry, Mr.
Miller, Clark.
I'm sorry, Mr. Miller, but
It's all right. I've got some unpacking to do anyway. I'll see you all later. Bye.
Bye. Now, Clark, what's the matter with you?
I don't know, Lois.
Well, you look simply ghastly. Where have you been the last few days?
Germany.
Germany? Jeepers.
Now, wait a minute. You left here on Monday, and today is Wednesday.
It's almost like the weakness the kryptonite gave me.
What's that?
What, did I say something? I'm sorry.
You said you were in Germany, Mr. Kent.
Well, I said that.
Clark, what in the name of heaven has come over you?
Nothing, Lois. Nothing, really.
Well, do you realize what's going on around you?
I don't understand you, Lois. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, you better go in and see Perry White.
What for?
Well, for one thing, he's your employer, and every employer likes to see his employees once in a while. And for another thing, you've been fired.
What, again?
Well, this time it's serious, Mr. Kent.
Really, Jim?
Yeah, that's why Mr. White hired that Miller guy to take your place.
What Miller guy?
Oh, good heavens. Clark, go right in to see the chief, will you?
Why?
Go ahead now. Open the door, Jim.
All right. Well,
Go ahead, Clark.
all right, I'm going. You don't have to push. All the crazy things.
Close that door, Jim, will you?
What's wrong with him, Miss
I
Lane?
don't know, but it's serious, Jim. Which key connects with Mr. White's office on the intercom?
Number 3.
Yes? What is it?
Oh, it's Lois Lane, Chief. Clark Kent is coming into your office.
Oh, no, he's not.
Chief, now listen to me. There's something wrong with Clark.
You telling me?
I mean, seriously. Keep him in your office as long as you can. Now, don't let him go. I'll be in there soon. Oh, what's that number?
What number, Miss Lane?
I've got it here in my book somewhere. Let's see, wait a minute. I think it's right. Here it is. 3748. 3748. The chief keeps him there.
He sure didn't act right.
That's right. Hello? Mr. Grady, please. Well, he was completely irrational, Jim. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Hello? Mr. Grady? Mr. Grady, I need your help. We have a reporter here at the Daily Planet who seems to have had a nervous breakdown. Yes, he's suddenly become completely irrational. Well, I'd like you to send for him immediately and take him out to your rest farm. Yes, you'll need at least 2 strong men, because I'm sure he won't consent to go along willingly once he's done...
Convinced that Clark Kent is in the process of losing his mind, Lois is making emergency arrangements to have him picked up and taken away for treatment, unaware that Kent's trouble is that he has unknowingly met up with his deadliest and most powerful enemy, the newly created Atom Man. Now, with 2 burly attendants on their way for Kent, the Atom Man's search for Superman, and Superman's efforts to escape from the weakening effects of his one undefeatable enemy, the powerful atomic energy contained in kryptonite, takes a strange new twist. Miller unknowingly met Superman in his guise of Clark Kent in Lois Lane's office at the Daily Planet. There, a strange thing happened. Even without the aid of the metal gloves and converter, the kryptonite in the Atom Man's veins weakened and dazed Kent. Worried and concerned at what seemed to be Kent's irrational condition, Lois called a man who operates a rest farm.
Mr. Brady, you've got to help me. We have a reporter here at the office who seems to have had a nervous breakdown. Yes, he's definitely irrational. Well, I'd suggest you send 2 attendants up to get him, because I'm certain he'll resist once he learns he's being...
As we continue now, Kent and Lois are with Editor Perry White in the latter's office. Lois is making every effort to humor Kent, while waiting for the rest farm attendants to arrive, and winking at Perry White to make him understand.
Of course you're all right, Clark. There's nothing the matter with you. Nothing.
Well, what are you winking at me for?
Winking? Winking, Chief?
You heard me winking. Maybe there's something wrong with you, Lois. You're nervous as a cat.
Oh, nervous? Well, I'm as calm as a kitten.
And then, for the love of Pete, stop winking at me. It's driving me crazy.
Oh, Chief, sometimes you're an obtuse fool.
Oh, what did you say?
Now, look, Lois...
What did you say, Miss Lane? What kind of a fool am I?
An obtuse fool. O-B-T-U-S-E. It means dull and stupid.
Oh, come on. You keep out of this, Kent. You don't work here anymore. And from this moment on, young lady, neither do you. You're fired.
Again.
This time it's for keeps. This time What's that?
Your inter-office phone.
Who asked you? Yes? What is it?
Mr. Grady's men are out here to see Miss Lane.
Who's Mr. Grady?
Oh, tell Miss Backrack to send them in, will you, Chief?
I will not. What do you think this office is, a cattle ranch?
All right, I'll do it myself.
Why of all this? You keep those men out of this office. This is my office, and I won't have it filled up with every dumb Dick and Harry.
Okay, Bob, take it easy. It's a nice day out. How about coming for a walk, huh?
Are you crazy?
No, he ain't, Bob. Take his arm, Charlie.
Okay.
Let go of me, you go.
Wait a minute. That's the wrong one. It's that one.
Who, me?
Yes, Clark. These gentlemen want to take you for a walk in the sunshine.
Yeah, with the boys and the bees and the squirrels.
Lie down, Charlie. Come on, pal. We ain't gonna hurt you.
Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Lois, can you explain this?
Well, you see, Clark, it's this way. I don't think you're very well. And
you don't think...
Well, I just arranged for you to go and rest. Well, that's all it is, really. Isn't that so, gentlemen?
Yeah, sure. You're gonna get a nice long rest, pal. Take his arm, Charlie.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. If this is what I think it is...
We'll do all the thinking, pal. That's what we get paid for. Come on.
Just a minute, please.
We're in kind of a hurry, pal. Now, are you gonna come along quiet-like, or do we have to make with the business?
You mind if I ask who you two individuals are?
I'll explain later, Chief.
Nobody's interested in your explanation.
Look, Pop, don't get in our hair. That's all we gotta say. Just don't get in our hair.
I'll get in more than your hair before I'm through.
Wait a minute. Lois, do you think I'm crazy?
No, Clark, but I do
Grab him,
think...
Charlie. He's at...
Okay.
Cut that out. Now, cut it out, I said.
This is terrible.
Grab another arm, Charlie.
Let go.
Let go of me, you idiot.
Let go, Lois. Let go, Lois. Do something. I know what you've got to do something.
Unable to reveal his true strength, Clark Kent decides to submit as the two attendants force him out of the office, despite Perry White's frantic protests. Meanwhile, in a shabby basement room in the heart of Metropolis, Henry Miller, the Atom Man, is reporting to his creator, De Teufel.
As I say, getting the job at the Daily Planet was nothing. Making contact with Superman is going to be another matter.
You made, of course, some preliminary inquiries.
I questioned a young reporter named Olson, but he couldn't give me much information. He referred me to a Miss Lane.
Yeah, Lois Lane. A very clever young woman. You spoke with her?
Well, not really. Clark Kent came in just at that time.
Clark Kent? Yeah, I know him well. Now listen to me. They have given you a reporter's card?
Yes.
Good. Unfortunately, I will not be able to keep in very close contact with you, at least until Superman is in your power. Not only the police and the FBI, but hired gunmen in the employ of the Scarlet Widow are looking for me. Therefore, it will be necessary for you to operate on your own. You are not afraid, are you?
With the metal gloves and the converter in my pocket, I'm not afraid of anyone, Teufel.
Spoken well, my Atom Man, spoken well. Now, here is what you will do. The editorial offices of the Daily Planet are almost deserted following the printing of the final edition at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
That much I know. Tonight, between 7 and 8, you will go to the Planet and carefully search the desks of the editor, Miss Lane, and Clark Kent for any information you can find that will lead you to contacting Superman.
And if I find no such information?
I feel certain you will learn something at the offices of the Daily Planet. Perhaps enough to accomplish what has been my dream for years.
What's that?
To bring the great and powerful Superman to his knees. To see him groveling before me, begging for mercy, to watch him die. Slowly and painfully. Go, my Atom Man. Go and do this thing for me.
Gloating even before the kill, De Teufel, his half-crazed mind alive with the thought of subduing the American symbol of truth and decency, sends his deadly, monstrous Atom Man on the way. Unable to reveal his supernatural strength in the presence of Lois Lane and editor Perry White, Clark Kent decided to submit to being placed in a straitjacket and taken to a rest farm, All because Lois believes he has become temporarily irrational. It is now 7 o'clock in the evening. Off in the distance, a steeple bell tolls the hour. Left alone for the first time since he was carried into the rest farm, Kent studies the small room he is in.
Well, the door's locked and bolted, but those iron bars on the window shouldn't be too difficult to bend. I'll fix Lois for this one of these fine days. First off with these clothes. Irrational, am I? Well, you'll make a public apology to me, Miss Lane, before I'm through. There, that does it. Now, to tackle those bars
Says Superman. I don't want to break them, just bend them enough to get out and bend them back. No sense letting them suspect who they had here. Let's see now, these two should do it. There we are. Should be able to squeeze through that opening. Well, here goes. So, made it. Not by much. Now to get the bars back in shape. They'll be puzzling this out for a long time to come, those two dodo birds who brought me here. So, set straight as a die. Now where? Let's see, it's a little after 7. Nobody at the office now. I think I'll drop in and leave a note for Jimmy. Got to be able to contact someone at the office.
Up! Up! And away! Leaping into the darkened sky, Superman wings to the heart of the city. And bare moments later, drops down on the 20th story ledge of his own office window.
Well, this is a lot faster than elevators. Up with the window. And inside. I'd better leave a note in an envelope or someone may think it's a... That's funny. There's a man in Lois's office rummaging through her desk. Great Scott, it's that new reporter the chief hired. Miller. I'll teach him to go through other people's desks. Give him the scare of his life. Having a good time, my friend?
Superman.
Well, is that all you've got to say?
No, I'll have something more to say in just a minute. Yes, plenty more to say.
Startled at having suddenly come face to face with the one person he has traveled 4,000 miles to find, Henry Miller's hands slip into the pockets of his jacket, reaching for the metal mesh gloves and electronic converter that will transform him from an ordinary human being into a destructive monster, an Atom Man. He can scarcely believe his good fortune, scarcely believe that the broad-shouldered costumed figure standing in the doorway is the object of his search, and Superman, unaware of what he is in for, looks on. What will happen? The man of atoms and the man of steel face one another now. This is the vital moment. So don't fail to hear tomorrow's tense, exciting episode when only a miracle saves Superman from destruction. Tune in, same time, same station tomorrow for the further adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman, brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications.